So Riley's nickname is Mr. Awesome, and he got that nickname pretty much right from when he was first diagnosed. He was diagnosed at 22 months with pre-B-cell ALL, which is acute lymphoblastic leukemia. And he was so awesome about going up to Riley Hospital and receiving his treatments and going through everything that he had to go through and keeping a positive attitude and staying positive through all of it. So Dad gave him that nickname as Mr. Awesome.
How did we get here? What caused the way on a lonely shore? I can see in your eyes, dear, it's hard to take for a moment.
So leukemia is a blood cancer, and what happens is everybody will throw out cells that are abnormal. It's normal for everyone to do that, but most people have systems in their body that take care of those abnormal cells. But for Riley, and nobody really knows why, but for Riley and other people like him, his body isn't able to identify those abnormal cells and destroy them. So what happens is they replicate and then end up taking over his system and kind of crowding out everything else. So instead of having healthy red and white blood cells doing all of the jobs that they're supposed to do, you have these leukemia cells that are crowding everything out. And so a lot of times what happens is they have fevers that kind of reoccur, and there's not really any explanation for them. He was having a lot of body aches and pains, but at the time he was only 22 months old, so he wasn't really able to express to us how he was feeling. And so he would just say he hurt, but couldn't really tell us where. And so the only way that we were able to identify what was going on was through blood work, where they were then able to tell us pretty certain that that's what was going on. And then we had to do some further testing just to identify specifically what we were dealing with and get a plan for how to treat it.
We've got to burn the ships, cut the ties, send a flare into the night, say a prayer, turn the tide, dry your tears and wave goodbye. Step into a new day. We can rise up.
We went out to Seattle for about a week. The plan going forward will to be going back out there to receive treatment, but that week was an opportunity for us to meet with the medical team, find out about a new clinical trial that we'll be entering into. So Riley has actually beaten cancer 4 times, but for whatever reason with his system, it continues to come back. So he went through, it's called standard treatment, and that's just kind of what everybody goes through. He was in that for 3 years. When we were on our very last clinic appointment, getting our very last spinal chemo, they discovered that his spleen and liver were enlarged, and so they wanted to just do a little bit extra testing. They also looked at his bone marrow and discovered that the leukemia had come back. So that threw us into relapse therapy. We did that for a couple of months and had some severe side effects. Ended up in the ICU for several days, and we, through that, decided we needed to kind of change therapy, did some immunotherapies and different things like that, and thought we were doing pretty good. And then in 2018, he relapsed again. And at that point, we knew that we needed to try something different. And so we did some research and found a program at Cincinnati Children's Hospital where they do CAR T, which is another type of immunotherapy, where they actually take his own cells, modify those, and then put them back into his system to go after the specific leukemia cells. So we did that in 2018. Then his leukemia came back, and we did it again in the summer of 2019. And then in November, the day before Thanksgiving, we found out that his leukemia had come back again. So Seattle Children's Hospital has another form of CAR T that we're going to try, and hopefully it will be what we need to kind of take care of this for the last time. If not, we have other treatment options. We'll be looking probably at bone marrow transplant to see if that would take care of it.
What's tough on you?
One of the hardest parts about having a sibling with cancer is that most of the time, at least one of your parents is in the hospital, and you spend the majority of your time not hanging out with your friends, and you don't get the normal life of just being able to plan out, like, we're going to go to Seattle and I'm not going to be here for my birthday, so I'm not going to be able to have a real party, although I am going to have friends over actually today. I won't be able to have an actual party, and sometimes it feels like he gets more attention, which he does, but for a good reason. Sometimes it's just hard to deal with that.
Well, same thing as her, and I've missed a lot of my friends' birthday parties, and it's just hard.
Although there's a lot of bad things that we've seen him go through, like when he had to do the standard relapse treatment, we watched him almost not make it, which was really hard, but we got to go on this Make-A-Wish trip, which is where this company gives the kid one wish and you can do anything in the world that you want. And he wished we could go to Disney World, and we got to go there for a week, and it was really amazing. So that's one benefit of it. He also just did a little wish, which is where he could pick out a electronic device, and he chose a new Kindle Fire and cords and stuff.
It doesn't have to be an electronic, it's just something little that you want to do.
I think the most important thing for other people to know is that we're just a normal family dealing with extraordinary circumstances, and the support that we've received from friends and family in our community have been invaluable. We've had a lot of people that have stepped up to help with the girls when we've been at the hospital with Riley, or even just when Riley first started kindergarten, he came to school completely bald because he had lost all of his hair due to treatment. And the kids were so welcoming and understanding, and I don't think anyone has ever made fun of him at any point in his treatment. He's had a lot of physical differences. He's not as fast as everybody else. He doesn't have the stamina like other kids have. And so I think just for parents to help their kids understand that people are different, and it's okay that they're different, but everybody has something to bring to the table. And I think we have been blessed by a community and a school who have embraced us and loved us and helped take care of us through all the different stages of his treatment.
Girls?
My friends were really helpful. I was able to stay with them when Riley was in the hospital. But
And step into a